Yep. So if you want, you can end this.
And I love how there's no viewers, so everyone can hear me talking behind the screen. Oh, there he was just on camera for a second. You missed him. Because look at how gorgeous that car is. All right. So here we are again with the Alfa Romeo Clover in Italian. Spent a ton of time in this car. I admit I haven't. You can call it the Giulia, or you can call it the Quadrifoglio or QV, like the old Milano, which was the last rear-wheel drive sports sedan Alfa Romeo sold in America. The Verde, the green, just means the highest performance level. Does not have anything to do with the color of the car. Ranveer, this is the Alfa Romeo Giulia QV, the Quadrifoglio Verde, so the 505 horsepower automatic transmission for the U.S. market is the only transmission we get, but rest of the world does get a manual fiber. The rest of the car might rust one day, but we'll be nice to Alfa Romeo. No stick, Andrew, for the U.S. market.
You can stick, yeah.
Some of the other markets in the world. Hold on, I'm Facebook Living. See, this is a nice guy here. Get out of my shot. Some of the other markets do get a manual transmission at 6-speed. We only get the 8-speed automatic only, and that is a shame. But two things. Business, and it's got huge column-mounted paddle shifters, so you can actually, like, in the middle of a corner, you can grab a gear. It should be a stick, but I think you can order it now. I think they're actually on sale. I've seen one or two on the road. I don't know if they're dealer cars or they're just late test cars. It won't rust. See, somebody else was making fun of it not rusting too. It's an Alfa, and it probably will break because Hondas break too. All cars break. You guys are mean. Alfa Romeo. Oh, did you put Alfa Romeo? I think we came around. It was this guy. Just point to some random dude. He did it.
It was him.
He did it.
It was him.
He did it. We don't know who he is.
We were rushed to start.
Wow, this is hilarious. So apparently there's been a spelling mistake, and somebody wrote Alfa Romeo in the title. It was not me, but.
Yes, it was.
No, it was not. I had nothing to do with it. I will throw this phone at the ground. Anyway, so on the Alfa display, which we'll get to in a little bit, are the lesser Giulia models. There's a blue one right here. The choices for engines in the U.S. are a 2-liter 4-cylinder for the base model, which starts at like $37,000. And I'm sorry, but that version, and $2,000 adds all-wheel drive, which is wonderful if you live in a place like Detroit, because it snows here literally 363 days a year or something like that. Even the 4-cylinder one is stunningly beautiful. And we'll walk under the hood in a minute, but you'll be able to see how far back the engine is. This is not a platform that they shared with anyone else. Hold on, questions coming in. I'll read it. The base 4-cylinder does not have a DCT. Base 4-cylinder is also the ZF 8-speed automatic. Converter automatic with paddle shifters. And it is kind of the best automatic in the business. Probably, honestly, better than a DCT would have been. Somebody just said it was the best-looking sedan, hands down. I would agree. Although last night we saw the Kia Stinger GT, and that was pretty close. Also, basically has the same taillights. Somehow these cars all wound up looking like a Kia Optima, which is not a bad thing because that's beautiful too. Sam, there is no manual option for the U.S. or I believe the U.K., but most of the other world markets have it. I have a feeling we're going to see a manual option on it in the future if we all keep screaming at Alfa Romeo. And trust me, I've been screaming at Alfa Romeo. Power difference between the base model and the top model. So the base model is that 2-liter 4-cylinder. I don't honestly remember the power output. I haven't driven that one yet. It's close to 300 horsepower. It's in the upper twos. The top model, which you're looking at, the Quadrifoglio Verde, the QV, is 505 horsepower from a tiny little V6. It's 2.9 liters. One of the smaller V6s on the market right now. But it is basically a California T, Ferrari California T V8 with 2 cylinders lopped off. That means big bore, short stroke. It's really smooth. I'm going to get nerdy for a second. Most 90-degree V6s need balance shafts to smooth themselves out. It's not the correct layout for V6. V6s want to be 60 degrees. This one's a 90, and because it was based on the Ferrari motor, it doesn't have the balance shafts. Amazingly, though, it's one of the smoother sixes on the market. You do get some weird vibrations at like 1,200 RPM, but the solution there is just, keep your foot on the gas and like be at 5,000 RPM. Not on the crazy QV, not on the 505 horsepower engine, not yet. But the 4-cylinder models do have an optional all-wheel drive system for $2,000 extra. Would I recommend? Sean Keeley wants to know if I would recommend selling neighborhood to have a Giulia QV. So I say do it. You don't need both kidneys. You can probably sell half your liver if you don't drink a lot too. Let's head out now, Johnny and I, that we did watch it because this thing did really... Sorry, Paul.
Reception in here is low.
So this blue one is the 4-cylinder. This is the 2-liter 4-cylinder. I'm going to get into this car next week for the first time. Sean, take it easy on the booze. Your liver is too far gone already.
This one unlocked.
This one's probably unlocked. Let's see if we can open the door and throw ourselves in. Throw the camera guy in there. The Stelvio is right behind this. You'll see it in a minute. We'll get to the Stelvio in a second. So this is the 4-cylinder. We'll look at the blue rims in a second. Starts at $37,000. The TI, which is the upgraded models, base out at $41,000, which I know is a lot of money. But let me tell you, the QV and the Audi A4, which is basically the best handling sedan in the world. The most important thing on this is, even though it does have that silly automatic shifter, I'm going to have the camera guy turn around a second, because a lot see what you're doing. You don't know, you're sort of crossed up like this and you on the column and makes them this big, because you can be all crossed up into a corner and still know, upshift is right here. It's a real driver's car, and it's one of the little signs that this is the car better than the S3. S3 is a front-wheel drive Volkswagen Golf-based car, but come and look at where this engine is. We can't. Hold on. I think they didn't do it. No, they disconnected the hood. We'll go on. We wanted to know how they got the V6 to be well balanced without balance. Big bore, short stroke. So the longer the piston stroke is, the more the pistons have to move, the more vibration you're going to get in that V6. And car companies love to get smoother and smoother and smoother and smoother. And that's not always the best thing you want for a performance thing, with giving a little bit of vibration, but then really isolating the noise. Because V6s don't make good noise. Right, good big bore, short stroke, and it didn't need balance shafts. Then the other thing you need to see is right here where my hand is. This is the entire 4-cylinder is behind. The V6 would be here. This is really, really far back, and they're saying this car has 50-50 weight distribution. We haven't weighed the 4-cylinder yet. The V6 was pretty close, so I have a feeling the 4-cylinder will hit it. More cool than I am. But this, typical direct injection turbo 4-cylinder. I'll let you know more about it in the next week or so when we've actually been behind the wheel of one. But again, most important thing, look at how far back that engine is, all the way back behind. That is why, for somebody of the front wheels, that weight is between the wheels and it's as far back as possible. That helps front engine rear wheel drive car. By the way, no hybrid options, not yet. It does have a brake-by-wire system, meaning there's no physical is for a hybrid, so that you can blend regenerative brakes and friction brakes. And so even though they haven't announced any sort of hybrid, I bet you $50, 3 night and day, way better. Sorry, Audi. That is a 5-passenger SUV. It is basically an SUV. It's an SUV version of the Giulia. Same exact. I'll be doing more of these Facebook Live videos. So if you see me and I'm talking into off-road SUV, this is the QV, the Quattrofoglio Verde, the same twin turbo 2.9 liter V6, 505 ridiculous horsepower, screaming, making all kinds of noises, and looking beautiful. I'm fairly confident in saying this is the best looking SUV on the planet. We haven't driven it yet. No one's driven it. Motiv says SUV or crossover. Technically, it's a crossover. I use those terms interchangeably, probably because I'm old. But yeah, it is technically a crossover, but you see that it's lifted quite a bit from the Giulia sedan. It's got those really cool fender flares. And if it makes all the same noises and has all the same moves, which it should, it's going to be one of the best driving SUVs on the planet, crossovers, SUVs. So somebody named Jason likes my episodes better than Johnny's. I thank you very much, but I have a feeling it's because you like my name. Those are the optional wheels, by the way. Those are Alfa Romeo typical phone dial wheels, new and disgustingly gorgeous. I am totally still young enough for an Alfa. In fact, I would totally rock this car if it was a wagon. If it was a wagon. Which, by the way, there have been rumors that there will be a Giulia wagon. So picture this, a couple inches lower to the ground with a lower roof, and picture me licking it because I won't be able to stop. Really, really looking forward to driving this. Yet as if this Stelvio has the same optional carbon bucket seats that the Giulia QV has, because that would be pretty cool to be like, dude, my SUV has carbon bucket seats. Is it a better suspension for off-roading? To be honest, I don't know. It is four-wheel drive, and obviously we'll have a lot more suspension travel than the Giulia. I suspect this car's focus will be much more on handling and fun to drive than it will be for like showing Land Rovers what to do on off-road courses. Pricing last week, which the QV starts at 71 grand. So figure $5,000 on top of that. So $75,000 for the 505 horsepower version, probably somewhere in the low 40s to start for the regular one. I don't have full dimensions. The same size as a Macan, I would say. It's the same category as a Macan. I think it looks a little bit bigger. Speaking of things that look a little bit bigger, I've been eating a lot, and it's the holidays, so here I am. Is automated car or manual transmission available? No manual yet. About no manual in the Giulia, so hopefully there'll be a manual and everything. Yeah, right? Somebody just said Italians never let anyone down with their styling. Come on. It's an SUV. Remember when they all looked like garbage trucks? X6 0 to 60. This will probably be faster than an X6M. No. X6 50i. We haven't driven it. The thing about the Stelvio is no one's really driven it yet. We've driven it in that it's the same car as the Giulia, but it's going to be probably another 3 months. And then after that, we'll get one back at the office, and I will do my best to drift it and slide it and all kinds of other stuff. No more comments about the Alfa Romeo. That was the guy behind the camera who typed that. It wasn't me. I would have called it Alfa Romeo Gorgeous or something. Well, it's an Alfa. Guess. No, actually, the Giulia that we had, we did both a head-to-head. So we did a head-to-head and an ignition on the Giulia QV, the 505 horsepower sedan. And that we did horrible. I shouldn't even tell you. The head-to-head's out now. We didn't do anything that terrible. Before that, we did the ignition, which unfortunately isn't up yet. 1,000 miles. I did awful, horrible things for 1,000 miles, and it gave me one check engine light in the morning. Both of the cars woke up with check engine lights, and they went away. And I'm like, okay, they're groggy Italians. They want their cappuccino, and they want to get warmed up, and that was it. So no interior bits fell off. Doesn't quite feel as well put together as an Audi would. But we're not talking like 80s Alfa Romeos where when they were new and you're like, oh, how pretty, and poof, the headliner fell off. None of that stuff. And I think that's it. If you guys don't have any more questions, I can go eat. I can go correct the title. Are you going to tow a Model X with this thing and race it?
Yeah.
Probably not. I think the people at Alfa would kill me if I tried a stunt like that. But yeah, we'll be back. I'll be back later on today with a couple more walk-arounds. We're looking for cars that we know information about. Because what I don't want to do is stand here and be like, this is the new something, and I don't know anything about it. Because some of the cars here are just concepts, and we'll see. So we'll look for some other stuff that you guys will be interested in. We'll come back later and tomorrow, and I'm not taking sports guesses. Yeah, so hang on. If anyone who haven't watched the Alfa Giulia head-to-head, go on motortrendondemand.com, sign up for a 30-day free trial, and go watch that, because I don't want to give it away, but usually Johnny and I are pretty good at guessing what's going to win a Comparo because we've usually driven it. None of us saw this coming. Neither of us saw this coming. Watch it. And on that note, I'm going to go say hi to somebody who's giving me the finger. And I'll talk to you guys all later.